Hello again and welcome to the video. So today we've got another Marklin set. This one is number 48040 and it is a Kombirail pair of truck trailers with bogies that allow them to be used on the railway. So in real life I'm pretty sure that this didn't work that well because the trailers needed so much strengthening in them in order to be able to pull the entire length of the train that they became quite heavy, and obviously with the weight restrictions on the roads this meant that they couldn't carry that much load compared to a normal trailer. So I don't think in real life this setup lasted for very long, but let's see what we've got today. So this model I have bought second hand. The box has got a few marks on it and it is going yellow around the edges a little bit. One thing to note on this model, it doesn't have the normal Marklin 3-rail logo on it, so I'm assuming that you can use this on 2-rail. I'm not 100% sure, so if you do buy this, watch out, you might actually short your track out because it might have the 3-rail wheels on it. You can always check that before you put it onto the rails. So let's see what we've got inside this box. As usual, it's the Marklin cardboard sleeve and polystyrene tray. The cardboard sleeve lifts off very easily, and inside the polystyrene tray presents the model in this way. So you've got two identical trailers here, and then you've got two end parts of the wagon and the middle bogie here, all presented in this tray. So let's go ahead and have a look at one of the trailers first. One thing I noticed straight away with this is that it is actually quite heavy, and I guess that's because this model has a base which is made of metal. I guess it needs that because of it being an integral part of the wagon. It's also actually quite prototypical as well because the chassis had to be quite weighty. So this one has an additional plastic part on the back here. This is quite loose on this model. I wonder whether it's meant to come off so easily or whether it's just broken. So this part has come off quite easily. It just clips on the back here, but it is quite delicate. I'll see if I can get it back on. This is a normal crash bar here on the back of a truck, but this one flips all the way up when it's part of the wagon, and that's quite a nice detail that they've added there, but it is quite delicate. As you can see, it's just fallen straight off again. So obviously you can see that the doors on the back of this trailer also open, and you can see inside the trailer, but there's no detail in there, and you can see the ugly studs as well, so there's not really any point in opening these doors. So the wheels are pre-rolling as well. They've got what looks like metal axles, but they have this extra part here which covers it up, which is very nice. There's nice tread on the tyres and even wheel studs on the wheels there. Inside here you've got some crash barriers, the landing gear, and you have the kingpin here with a piece of plastic in it. I'm not quite sure why that's there. It might become apparent as we try and assemble this. Graphics on the side of this, it's something that Marklin do very well, is the printing of graphics on the side of their models. Down this end you can see that the printing hasn't gone into the edge here, so you can see a bit of yellow through there. I don't think that's prototypical, and that's a bit sloppy there. And it's also mirrored on the front of the trailer at the same point. This isn't Marklin's best attempt at printing onto a model, but it's certainly quite bright and vibrant. At the back you can see that the printing goes over the doors, but again it's suffering from a similar issue here where it hasn't printed inside of these bars, and that's really unusual for Marklin. Quite surprised that that's happened. So the other trailer that you get in this set is exactly the same, but you can see that this one has actually got a bit of damage on it. This might be from transit when it was sent to me. So it looks like the roof has come away a little bit. Let's see if we can get this fixed. Okay, so I've managed to fix that okay. That's a bit of a shame it got bashed there. There's no lasting damage, so that's good. This one's crash bar works a lot better than the first one because it's not falling off all the time, but I can see that it has a little bit of a mark here where it was taken off the sprue, and that could have been cleaned up a little bit before being presented onto this model. But aside from that, this model is exactly the same as the first trailer, unsurprisingly. So this is one of the two end parts of this model. The trailers fit into here. It's quite an interesting thing. It's got a bit of movement here to allow the trailer to go around corners, and it also is where the coupling is mounted as well. It's got NEM pockets too. On the side of this bogie, it's got a lot of printing on these two panels. That's really quite good. So Marklin have excelled themselves here with the printing. It also has this yellow brake wheel and even more printing just right underneath the springs here on the bogie. So there are a lot of very delicate parts on this model. You can see that this tie down part here is bent a little bit, and you also have this middle part, and when I was pulling it out the package in there, this piece came off. I think it just slots into these holes here, so I'll just put that back together. So that's indicative of how delicate these models are. And this bogie here is very similar to the two end pieces. It's got the same black part, it's just got a different brown part. It's also got the same kind of printing on the side of these panels here and the same brake wheel. So there's a lot of duplication here. This is a push fit together, these two parts here. I feel as though this is maybe just a little bit of a cheaper model that's been clipped together quite simply. So let's see what this looks like when we put all 5 pieces together. Okay, so that went together a lot easier than I thought it would. Helpfully, the brown parts on the bogies have little guides that help the studs go into the holes that they should go into, so that made putting this together actually quite easy. Now that it is together, it does look quite an impressive set. The colour of the trailers looks very vibrant, obviously when it's bright yellow, and it's quite nice with the brown and the black of the bogies, and it will certainly look very good getting pulled along behind a locomotive. Let's see how much all this weighs. I'll put that on the scales. So I've got everything on the scales here now, and it weighs 705 grams. So overall, this set from Marklin is a really interesting thing to add to your collection. I think it would look great being pulled behind a locomotive on anybody's layout, and it would be especially appealing if you model modern image intermodal transport. The prototype might not be that common, and it might have been a failed venture, but this model here certainly looks very nice. This set does have a few niggles to it, especially the printing. It's unusual for Marklin to not get it really spot on, but it does have a lot going for it. There is a lot of detail here, and it's quite a cool looking thing. So if you're interested in intermodal transport, I think this would be an interesting addition to your collection. So I'll put one of the trailers on the turntable so you can see all the way around it. In the meantime though, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and you can subscribe to see more videos like this. That's it for today though. See you next time.